Hey guys, are you looking for a sportsbook that you can trust? Well, look no further than mybookie.ag, where you can get a 50% match on your initial deposit of up to $1,000 when you use promo code DFSArmy. As a bonus, when you use promo code DFSArmy, you also get a free month of DFS Army VIP and DFS Army Beat the Bookie membership. That's a $100 combined value. So we'll help you with your daily fantasy sports and we'll help you with your handicapping. Free when you sign up for mybookie.ag using promo code DFS Army. Hey guys, people always ask me what exactly we do in DFS Army. Basically, if you're someone that likes to play daily fantasy sports, you want to be able to pop in close to lock, get a breakdown of a slate, full set of projections, breaking news, and cheat sheets, player picks, and advice directly from pro players, then DFS Army is the place for you. We function as a team. We help each other out. We have coaching unlike any other service in the industry. And the proof is in the results. Check out our DFSArmy.com wall of wins to see for yourself the massive number of six-figure wins regular DFS Army average Joes have won in just the past year. If you're tired of redepositing all the time, you already like playing on Fanduel and Draftkings, but you want to take your game to the next level, it's time to sign up for DFS Army as a VIP member. Use promo code PODCAST to lock in 20% off the normal monthly rate. That's going to wind up at $39.99, the best deal in the industry. Promo code PODCAST, 20% off, DFSArmy.com, the best deal in the industry. We'll see you in the lobby.
In 2015, an elite DFS Army Commando unit formed to bring high-level DFS strategy to the masses. Today, hated by DFS sharks and lineup sellers alike, they continue their quest to turn Joe into DFS pros.
Good afternoon, everybody. This is your DFS Army Bold Calls NBA DFS podcast for Friday, March 15th, 2019. And I am your host today, BoomersDaddy. Joining me, as always, is the one, the only Mr. Bear. What is up, my brother?
Hey everyone, how's it going?
Oh, man. You know, it was a... Okay, so... Here's your rant today. Okay. Now, we haven't promoted it a lot this season because of we just haven't done it. But one of the commandments is thou shalt not predict blowouts. And what I've done it twice this year as I try to fix my microphone here, get it in the right spot. I've done it twice this year. Each time it's cost me a buttload of money. Now, I would rather live and die by one rule than waver with another, than waver on that rule and it costs me money. So I guess the biggest thing here is, you really, if you're like sticking to a rule like we try to, and say, I'm not going to predict blowouts, then you need to stick to that rule. The first time, I forgot what it was. It was like Julius Randle was ruled out against the Thunder, I think, and it got me off of Westbrook, and he ended up popping like a 85 or something that night. It was something stupid. And then last night, because of the Mavericks playing situation, I got off Mavs, and the Nuggets barely won that game. So, and I was absolutely crushing until that point. So I guess the rule is, and I said this morning, and I said it to you guys personally last night, I will never predict another blowout ever again.
Good.
So I've wavered on it twice. I've thought I've had the reasoning in my head was right. Like, it was good reasoning. But the actual action that I took for DFS purposes was not good. So,
yeah.
that's one of the things that I will never do again. And I apologize to all of those that got off of guys like Luka Doncic and Dwight Powell and Maxi Kleber, because they all crushed.
Indeed, they did.
So I didn't get off of them totally. I did on Fanduel on Luka, but on DK I had, I think, like 2 lineups. Like I had them limited to 10% max, and I really shouldn't have done that. So, and it got me off of guys like Paul Millsap. It was, I still profited, but to know what it could have been, it hurt. It really did. So, well, I guess Powell didn't crush, but Monty Morris barely got there. Jalen Brunson got to almost 5.6x, but Millsap and Doncic, they were great plays. So that is my bad, and I apologize for that. So today, we got a lot going on today. It's been a busy morning already, Bear.
Yeah, a lot coming in, a lot changing. We'll go over today who's in, who's out.
I'm actually about to do that. It brought to you by In-N-Out. That's what a hamburger's all about. Do I sound anything like Mike Trudeau?
No.
I listen to a lot of Lakers games because I love Thompson and Trudeau. Like, together, they work so well together, and it's like they're easy on the ears. Like, there's some of these NBA radio broadcasters that are I don't want to say they're antiques, but most of them are of the older variety, that are very, very hard to listen to. Just their voice, not what they say. Their voice is, like, I think it's the Phoenix Suns guy who every time they hit a three goes, Shazam!
Shazam!
And I can't do that.
It's the worst.
If you ever have the ability to listen to a Big Thunder game, on the radio with Matt Pinto, do it. Like, oh my God, dude. He is, I would love the opportunity to get Matt Pinto on a podcast, but he is absolutely just insane because he does not hold back, like, at all.
Yeah. It's Michael Thompson and John Ireland.
Oh yeah, John Ireland. Where's Trudeau? Oh, Trudeau's the sideline guy, right?
Sideline guy, yeah.
Okay.
He is. And then he's a sideline guy for the TV for Lakers TV, and then for the
radio broadcast too.
The radio broadcast, he kind of does, but it's a little different. He still does the same kind of thing, but he also gives like analysis. So
yeah, he's
cool.
Pretty good. He's one of the better sideline reporters in the NBA.
Yeah.
Okay,
from
so
Minnesota too.
So let's go over these injuries here. Okay, so we're gonna go over the first games first. I'm just gonna run down my list. Mike Scott, Ben Simmons, Jimmy Butler, are all probable. Okay, for the 76ers. For Charlotte, Michael Kidd-Gilchrist and Marvin Williams both are probable. We'll talk about and Nicholas Batum. We'll talk about the impact there. Cody Zeller is doubtful. I'm expecting him to be out. For Washington, Trevor Ariza and Sam Dekker are both questionable. The big one there is obviously Trevor Ariza. For the Lakers, Tyson Chandler, LeBron James out. Reggie Bullock, Lance Stevenson, both probable. Josh Hart is questionable. Okay, and we'll talk about that as we were right before the show too. Reggie Jackson for the Detroit Pistons is questionable. I don't think he plays.
I don't either.
Just seeing that ankle injury the other night, I thought he broke it. Like, it looked bad. But he said he was icing it and he's not worried about it. X-rays did come back negative. So we'll see what he does. He might gain a respect point or two if he goes out there and he tries to play. At least gives it a shot, knowing what is at stake for the Pistons right now. Reggie Bullock is probable. Bruce Brown is probable. Reggie Bullock plays for Lakers now. Bruce Brown is probable. Um, for the 7:00 games for Houston, Hardestein, not significant, but he's out. Chris Paul is out due to rest. Nene is probable. Tyler Johnson for Phoenix is out due to right knee soreness. For the Milwaukee Bucks, the only guy that they're missing tonight is Sterling Brown. George Hill is probable, so that's good for them. For the Miami Heat, Dwayne Wade is questionable. That could be something that we're going to have to watch later on. For the New Orleans Pelicans, Anthony Davis he's questionable due to rest. I don't know, but anyways. Drew Holiday and Etuan Moore are still out. For the Portland Trailblazers, Mo Harkless, which is the big one that we're waiting on, is questionable.
Yep.
Rodney Hood is probable, and Seth Curry is questionable as well. For the 7:30 games, the Knicks, Dennis Smith Jr., Frank Ntilikina out. They called up Kadeem Allen. He will be available in uniform tonight in San Antonio. And Mario Hezonja is in. For the Spurs, Rudy Gay is probable due to illness. The late game tonight, Otto Porter, Zach LaVine are both probable. For the Clippers, Luke Mbah Amute is out, and Danilo Gallinari is probably going to play tonight due to rest coming back. So we have a long list. Obviously, some big names on that list that have already changed the full complexion of the slate. So let's get to it, shall we?
Yeah.
Alrighty here. Point guards tonight. Obviously, we know the best point guard on the slate is not a quote-unquote point guard, but let's go by the position, and let's talk about Damian Lillard a little bit. The reason I say this is the Blazers are now half a game ahead of the Thunder after the Thunder's lost to Indiana last night.
Yep.
They're now in the 4 seed. And they could pull a full game ahead of the Thunder, which is huge for them, because if they finish tied, then the Thunder get whatever seed they end up tied with, because we basically swept them this year. So that's really big in that aspect. As far as seeding is concerned. So with no Drew Holiday, with Damian Lillard, I really do like him tonight. Now, my biggest concern is this is an extended road trip for the Blazers. Okay, I'm legit having to dig for concerns on why not to play Damian Lillard, because of what has happened. It's not that extended of a road trip. Sorry, this is a LA, New Orleans, San Antonio road trip before they go home they've got a bad stretch right before the end of the season. That's what it was. Then they go home for 4 more before they go on that last bad stretch. But they took it to the Clippers the other night, man. And Lillard I was impressed because him and CJ were both kind of doing their thing that first rotation. And then when Lillard came out, CJ just went ham, and then he just basically deferred to CJ the rest of the game.
He was unstoppable.
Yeah.
I mean, he really was unstoppable.
And I don't that's from a basketball standpoint, that's exactly what you want your leader to do. Okay, somebody's hot, let's get the ball to him and let's keep feeding him until, he has a heat check or, something happens, and nobody could stop CJ. I do think Lillard is a good play tonight, but the ability to have some of these value point guards is jumping off the screen at me, considering where I want to pay up.
Yeah, I mean, there's a ton of value. There's a ton of stock already. So for me, there's one pay up point guard that I like a lot. And I think me and a few of the coaches are on the same page as far as this particular game to target. But I'm going to be hard set not playing a lot of Kemba. Just because, both of these teams are still kind of fighting for a playoff spot. Kind of. You've got, let me see what this total looks like here.
Yeah, it's getting down to
it's crazy right
crunch time for the Hornets. More so than the Wizards. The Wizards are 4.5 games back. 4.5 games. Sorry, 3.5 games back. The Wizards are the Hornets are 2 games back of that 8 seed. So they've got to win.
Yeah, second highest total on the board, 233. Slim favorites for the Wizards by 3. I'm going to have a decent amount.
Yeah, he's probably my favorite point guard over 9K on FanDuel. I did like Ben Simmons a lot, but then Jimmy Butler was announced in, and I don't think that Butler's not in play for me. I think he's at this point a better basketball player than a fantasy player because of the situation going on there in Philly. But Butler taking some of that, usage away, and usage doesn't mean everything to me, but just like I know it doesn't to you, but taking some of that away and taking the ball out of Simmons' hands a little bit,
sure,
does limit his upside, and he's kind of priced at a premium right now that I don't think I want to pay.
I agree.
So let's go below 9K here. Any interest in De'Aaron Fox at all?
Minimal.
Okay.
Not really. I don't hate that game at all. Again, this is Sacramento. It doesn't look good for them, but they're still thinking they have a chance to get in, so they're not giving up. I like somebody else on Sacramento, which we'll talk about here, but I think my top, kind of medium priced point guard is Derek White so far. Supreme matchup. I mean, the Knicks, they struggle enough to defend with DSJ. Now that DSJ is out, he's going to get Manuel Mudiay, who just doesn't defend at all. Never has his entire NBA career. And with, I noticed too with Rudy Gay back, DeMar DeRozan does less because he has to. Not that he wants to do less, but it's just the flow of the team. And what that also does is it, kind of gives a little bit more onus to Derek White. Whether he's playing point guard, whether he's playing shooting guard, it's the Knicks don't defend regardless. So,
and Derek White can help you out on the defensive side of the ball too.
Oh yeah,
he can get you some steals. He can get you some stuff like that, or some deflections. He's not going to get a ton of blocks, but he has been known to get 1 or 2. Yeah, I mean, I like you, or I'm like you. I really do like Derek White. I like you. I'm not playing Elfrid Payton tonight. Portland's been, their backcourt defense has actually been very, very good lately. I can't say that Damian Lillard has become a good defender, but he's at least giving a lot of effort there. And that's something that I really do like. As much as I don't like the fact that he's a Blazer, I really do like Damian Lillard as a basketball player, and he's given a lot more effort on the defensive side this season. And that's kind of stepped up his game a lot too. So Rajon Rondo against Detroit. He, in our estimation, is probably going to get a lot of Ish Smith defense. He's not cheap. He's 6,800.
No, he's not.
I don't know. He's basically this team's main ball handler. He's going to have the ball in his hands a lot. I think he's okay for cash. Let me put it that way. I just don't know how. Yes, 0 Elfrid Payton for me. 0 at that price on FanDuel, 7,600. 0. But But as far as Rondo is concerned, I think he's okay for cash. I just don't know if he's got the players around him to be able to get that upside in tournaments that you want with, some of these other guys that are down low. And that's a lot of salary to pay for a guy when I can go play other guys in that same price point, other positions, and get more.
Yeah, no, I agree. He's too pricey there. We just got news too that Harkless is out, and now
that's what we needed to know.
Seth Curry is probable. So not that really matters, but okay. So let's talk about some of the chalkier plays that are coming up here. So the number one probably owned guy on the slate is going to be Emmanuel Mudiay, with good reason. He's priced as a backup, a little bit more than a backup, because he's been producing as a backup. And now he goes into the starting role most likely. Plays over 30 minutes. Versus a Spurs team that I think have turned around the perception that they're now a bad defensive team, and they're not.
Especially at home.
Yeah, home and away is very big for this team. So Rodney Hood is available. Seth Curry, and then Harkless is out. I'll tell you why it's important here in a second. But so you got a guy that's under 5K, you got a guy that's starting, you got a guy that's playing 32 minutes. Everything looks good. The issue is, there's a few issues. The first issue being the Spurs are a very good defensive team. Derek White is a good defensive point guard. The third issue is, I guess, second or third, however you look at it, is he plays for Fizdale. And he could be starting and everything's all good. And then all of a sudden he, gets pulled for making a mistake, and it's Kadeem Allen playing, the rest of the game. Or who knows, Trier running point guard, or Hazonia. I mean, you just don't know.
Dotson.
So, yeah, Dotson, right. There's all kinds of potentials. So, just keep that in mind. I'm not saying he's not a good play. He is. I'm going to play a ton of him, but I'm just saying be careful.
Oh, man. Sorry, I just got an interesting piece of trade news from the NFL.
All right.
Anyways,
give me 1 second. All right, sorry. You talking about the Tannehill trade?
Yeah, I just got that. Oh man. Anyways, now the question is who's the better quarterback in Tennessee, Mariota or Tannehill?
Oh, it says something there. Oh, yeah, so.
No kidding. They've got to be the only team in the NFL that has 2 first-round picks and still don't know who their quarterback is. Oh, anyways, okay, so yeah, I agree with you. I will have a good chunk of Kadeem Allen. I think he gets run anyways, at least on FanDuel, and even if he doesn't, he's min-priced, so it won't hurt me that much. I typically don't like to play drops as point guards, but with that said, it's one of those tournament moves, because if Mudiay goes off, then I'm pretty much sunk anyways. If those Kadeem Allen lineups are pretty much sunk anyways, because if Mudiay goes off, he's not going to get a lot of run. I do like other guys down here at this. I think that, obviously Ish Smith is going to get a lot of run if Reggie Jackson's out. A pivot directly off of Mudiay that we've talked about already is Frank Jackson, who's going to see a lot of that second unit usage. So he's going to get a lot of that Seth Curry defense and stuff. He's only 200 more than Mudiay. But Ish Smith is going to be you're going to see a lot of Mudiay Ish Smith lineups tonight. And I am only going to be playing one of those guys in my lineups at a time.
Yeah, definitely just one.
So I will set up the DS to make sure that that happens. Let's talk about... want to. But let's talk about the situation in Phoenix. Tyler Johnson's going to be out.
Mhm.
And so you're going to see guys like DeAnthony Melton and Eli Okubo get some of that run there. Let's make sure that we let people know that they're drop score candidates on FanDuel only for me.
Yeah, and I think you can do better even for as drop scores. I mean, you've got guys like Alex Caruso at minimum price. You've got,
Is Caruso a point guard?
Yes.
Yeah. Yes. Okay. Yes.
Yes.
So you think that Josh Hart doesn't play?
I don't, but even if he does, you're still going to get a lot of Caruso because he's the backup point guard. Usually you'll have LeBron handling some of the ball, but he's not playing either. So
that's true.
It's just going to be Caruso and Rondo. They're the only 2 point guards the team has.
Okay. What about guys like Tony Parker, Ryan Arcidiacono?
I can't. Not really. Archie is out of the question now with everyone coming back. See who's up? Tony Parker.
Mm-hmm.
I don't mind it as a drop score, I suppose. But again, I mean, I probably would rather play Patty Mills.
Okay. I was just making sure that we were on the same page on that one.
Yeah. One more person I want to talk about that is going to be probably 0%. And I have a little bit of interest, and that's going to be Landry Shamet. He's been struggling. His shot hasn't been falling as consistently as it was when he first got there.
No, but it's pretty.
He's got the Bulls. He plays 30 minutes a game. He's 4,400. He's really cheap. Playing the Bulls. I mean, it's tough to pass on. So.
Yeah. Yep, I would agree. So let's talk about shooting guards here. James Harden. No Chris Paul. Just go ahead and lock him.
Rock and roll. Don't think too much about it. Just do it.
Yep. Bradley Beal.
He's pricey. He's expensive. It doesn't matter. He gets the Suns.
He was $2,000 more when Paul was out on a consistent basis.
Yeah, the only exception
and we were playing him.
It was Paul and Gordon both out, but still, I mean, Paul is the big one. So
yeah.
So Bradley Beal. So what Paul being out did was lower Bradley Beal's ownership. I think a lot of people were going to go to Beal and not pay up for Harden. Well, now you kind of have to go Harden, so Beal is going to be pretty much untouched. I've got a few lineups with a fair amount of value in them with both.
Yes, there we go. Now we're talking about some sexiness.
I mean, he legitimately has 60 potential in this game. It's going to be a lot of Bradley Beal. So, yeah, I mean, I'm off DeRozan primarily because Rudy Gay is back. He's obviously in a good spot, but he's been priced up because of his performance. We've played him at the 8K range, did very well for us. Now he's at 9,500. Now Rudy Gay's back. It puts me off of him completely.
Okay, so let's talk about this little 4-man grouping right here.
Okay.
DeMar DeRozan, Devin Booker, Jimmy Butler, Zach LaVine.
Yeah. So
for
me,
I ain't touching any of them.
Yeah, I'm kind of in the same boat. I mean, I think Booker is going to be really popular.
I think he is too, and I'm willing to fade that chalk on a power fade move.
Well, as of now, about noon here in my time, I don't have a single lineup with him. So, the question about Blake Griffin, we're on shooting guards. We'll bring up Blake Griffin as soon as we get to power forwards. But yeah, I'm off him too. I mean, kind of like him a little bit more with Tyler Johnson in. Another ball handler, doesn't force him to do everything. I do like the fact that they play Houston, right? I do like the fact that it's Houston because that usually means 3-point shooters shoot more versus them because so many shots go up, and they allow so many of them. But I'd rather play Oubre.
Yeah, and that was something that Luce kind of pointed out to us earlier. I'm trying to find the exact percentage here. He listens to and why I have no idea, but he said he did, so I was like, okay. So if I get the percentages wrong, please excuse me. And I can't give credit to who it actually was. Like he didn't even reference what podcast it was, but they said that his 3-point percentage is around 23% as an on the ball player compared to 39% as off the ball. Like, and now you're telling me that he's going to be handling the ball a lot more. Yeah, the usage is going to be there. The efficiency is not.
Yeah, my only thing about that is that as I pointed out in that same discussion, the thing it does is gives him some more ancillary stats, right? A few more assists. It's really just assists, to be honest.
But I'll trade the 1.2 that you give me for the assist over the 3 points that I get for the baskets, you know?
Yeah.
That's my whole thing is like fantasy basketball and DFS will always be correlated highest with scoring points. Now you generally want more than just points because that's where you start to test your ceiling and stuff. But if you're telling me that a guy's not going to be able to score as many points being the guy, quote unquote, and not having another guy, then that's something that's different. Now, something that I just thought about that I'd want to see, and maybe I can go back and look at this, is before they got Tyler Johnson, after they got Kelly Oubre kind of worked into that rotation, what they were doing together as well. Does that make sense?
Sure.
Like, because Kelly Oubre can change the spacing rather than when they didn't have any of these guys, and the defense could basically key in on Booker. So I'm gonna have to go back and look at that now that I think about it.
Yeah.
But as of right now, I'm off of Devin Booker as a power fade. So, Sweet Lou against Chicago.
I do like it. I put him in some of my earlier builds. Obviously, things are changing around. So here's where I'm stuck. I'm stuck at a 7,700 Lou Will or a 6,400 Jeremy Lamb. And I'm just consistently flocking to Lamb.
Yeah, well, let me give you an idea because I put Lamb in a lot of lineups to start my day, but that was before the Chris Paul news. I originally had a lot of Beal Lamb combos, and now I'm leaning towards a lot of, besides just the Harden Beal combos, I'm leaning towards a lot of Harden Lou combos. Because I think now, with everybody playing Harden, Lamb's going to be their go-to. One of their go-tos. I think a lot of people are going to play Austin Rivers. I think a lot of people are going to play Eric Gordon.
Yeah.
KCP is going to be interesting if Josh Hart is out. I think after Dion Waiters' last game, he's going to be semi-popular, especially if Dwayne Wade is out. So there's some options there. And it's going to depend on the news on who you're going to pair it with. That's why I really, really like this Harden Beal combo at shooting guard.
Same here.
So, any interest in guys like Marco Bellinelli, Reggie Bullock? Like,
so I got a few things about this Lakers Pistons game. You've got 3 people with Detroit ties on the Lakers, right? Like Bullock to the Lakers, and he'd been there for years. You've got Kyle Kuzma, who's from Flint. You've got Wagner, who played his college ball at Michigan. So I mean, you can't play all 3, but I mean, maybe in a game stack kind of thing, but generally speaking, you can't really play all 3. So it's interesting there. Obviously, that comes into play when it comes to Bullock. But the price is there. He hasn't been getting the minutes. I mean, he's been playing, but he hasn't been getting the 30, 32 minutes like he was when he first got to the team.
Right. No, they're kind of incorporating everybody now, that they're not really going for anything. I would love to see him get double-digit shots again. Like, nice. For me, I think that's what I need. Is I need him. I'll have a little bit of him in some lineups, especially if Josh Hart is ruled out. But I really want him to get to that, 12 to 15 shots. Brunski, Buddy Hield he's interesting because I think that he can score on anybody. But with that said, I think I'm going to pivot to other Kings tonight because of the fact that I think he sees a lot of Jimmy Butler. And not that Jimmy Butler's been a great defender this year, but he can be a pest.
Yeah.
And I don't like dealing with gnats and pests. So that's why we kind of skipped over Buddy. Marco Bellinelli against the Knicks. I have a little bit of interest there in a drop score, especially if this game gets out of hand. I think he could get a couple more extra run. That's kind of one of the reasons why I like guys like Bryn Forbes and Patty Mills as well. Not saying that I'm predicting the blowout. I don't want anybody to mistake that, but they're guys that are in the regular rotation anyway that are blowout proof that could see extra run and still do well if the game is close down to the stretch in the fourth quarter.
Yeah.
So, all right, let's move on to shooting or small forward here. The landscape has been completely changed with the admission that LeBron is going to be out. It's Giannis, then it's everybody else. So let's talk about Giannis real quick. The last time that they played the Heat, he had a triple-double. I think it was 24, 10, and 10. Okay. The last time that they played the Heat, he was the only guy in that game that I played. It was 12, 10, and 10. Okay. He only put up 46 points. The time before that against the Heat, he only put up 31. You go back to last year, he has another 44 against the Heat. He's only got one game the last 2 years over 50 against the Heat.
Oh.
I think this is what makes the Beal-Harden combo so enticing tonight is the fact that Giannis has struggled against the Heat this season or in his career.
He has. Yeah, hard to argue. He definitely has.
So, yeah, I mean, I just pulled it up the last 3 seasons. He's got one game over 50. And multiple 30s in there, guys. Like he's got a 39, a 31, a 31, a 38. And sitting at 11-8, he's gonna be very low owned because now everybody's gonna pivot to Harden. So maybe if you throw him in 1 or 2. But yeah, no. He is not gonna be anywhere close. In fact, right now, I have him in out of my 50 teams on FanDuel, I have him in 6. I'm at 12%, and I'm probably going to end up lower than that.
Fair enough.
So, Otto Porter Jr. I like this ping pong with him and Gallo tonight. Like, I really, really do.
I'm on the fence, man. I've been looking at it a lot, too. Like with Harkless out, I think you can go easily down to Layman. I like Layman a lot tonight. You've got, Kelly Oubre, who I mentioned, who's probably one of my favorite plays on the slate. I mean, if Ariza misses, you've got Jeff Green. You've got Bielitsa, who's back in his groove. Whom I like a lot now, considering, as we said, Butler will probably be mostly on Buddy or even Bogdanovich, depending on who's in there. I mean, there's just a lot to like.
Yeah, I didn't even think of Layman because I haven't adjusted the DS due to Harkless being out yet. But yeah, Layman is. So you're saying that Kelly Oubre and Jake Layman are your preferred pairing?
Yeah. Where I'm going.
Okay, so see, I've got to have clarity here with this position because, like, if Ariza's out, I like Jeff Green. I'm not.
Right.
It depends. I want to see Jeremy Lamb go back to the bench, and if he goes back to the bench and Michael Gilchrist starts, that means Batum's at the 2. I have interest in Batum then. I'm probably. I have to look into Josh Richardson's history against the Bucks, but I'm probably not going there. Justice Winslow, I'm out on. Like, it's this position needs more clarity for me because, like, right now I'm thinking of, not only Porter and Gallo and Oubre, but it's Jabari Parker's birthday. But
You had to. Huh?
yeah, I did. But if Ariza plays, do you want to play Ariza at 63 or Jabari Parker at 58? Or do you want to play Jeff Green at 45? Like, this is what's crazy is because they both play all three of them play the 3 and the 4. They don't have a viable power forward on FanDuel. But they got 3 small forwards and you got to pick.
Yeah, it's tough.
But yeah, today's Jabari Parker's birthday.
It's tough. I don't know how else to say it. It's tough.
Gerald Green is going to get a lot of interest from the Rockets now with CP3 out. With MKG back, I'm kind of off of Miles Bridges. Darius Miller's interesting for New Orleans with all those guys out. Like, he can get hot from beyond the arc against Portland. And with Mo Harkless not playing now, that takes away from some of their wing defense a little bit that we normally try to avoid. It's very, very difficult. I need clarity because when it's the kind of slate it is. When Austin Rivers and Gerald Green have my interest on a slate, like, come on, man.
Yeah.
So
I understand.
And Jabari Parker. So that's kind of the thing because you can't play both Beal and Harden and play guys like Porter and Gallinari and Oubre without having some value because we've yet to get to some of the guys that we're both going to love at some other positions at the center and power forward position. So just I personally need clarity with this game or with this position tonight.
Yep.
So
We'll see how it goes.
All right, let's talk about power forwards. LaMarcus Aldridge, in or out? Because that's what a burger's all about.
Out.
Sorry, I can't get that out of my head now.
You really need to.
Dude, it's every time. The first time there's a sub with the Lakers game. And I know you've heard it. And I know it's in your head too.
Of course I have.
In and out, because that's what a burger's all about.
It's just ridiculous.
So, who's in and okay, anyways.
Please. Let's move on.
All right, so
LaMarcus.
You just said out, so I said okay.
I didn't know you caught it between your in and out commercial and so now that I know you got it, okay, we're good.
I got it, and we all know why. It's because Rudy Gay's back. And both DeRozan and LMA take a hit with Gay in the lineup. If you want to limit him to like 10% because he does still have the ability to go off, he is going to play some of the 5, or he is going to play the 5. And depending on who they throw out there, as far as Davis Bertans, and whoever else, he could end up getting some extra rud. And it is the Knicks, but he is going to deal a lot with DeAndre Jordan and Mitchell Robinson, which are 2 bigger bodies that are going to limit his rebounds and stuff. So, animal style or what? Automatic simp. Automatic.
If you ain't doing animal style, you ain't doing it right.
You want to know what's funny is I've only had In-N-Out Burger once.
I'm sorry.
And it's just one of those things. They don't have a lot of them here.
Yeah.
So, let's talk about Blakey Poo.
It's gonna be tough to play him for a lot of people. He's consistently burned us, and I don't even think it's him just not playing well. I think it's Drummond playing so well. And given the makeup of their opposition, Drummond should continue to play well. So, I mean, yeah, that's kind of what I'm thinking here. So, I won't be.
I will have some Blake. I'm invested. I don't say that you have to. But I'm invested already.
What are we showing him for ownership
15.
projections?
15. That's as of right now. I'm gonna have to do an update because of the Harkless news and everything. So, but as of right now, 15%. That could change going forward. If he's gonna be below 20%, I'm gonna be overweight on the field.
On Blake?
I won't fade him completely. If he's like 15, if he's gonna stay right around that 15%, I'm probably gonna double up the field.
Okay.
But understand, I'm also making 50 lineups. So when you talk about doubling up the field for 50 lineups, you're talking right around 16 lineups.
Yeah.
So, Julius Randle, his price has come down a little bit. He's going against Portland. He's going to get a lot of Yusef Nurkic with the especially. Okay, so let's clarify this. If AD sits, he's going to get all the Yusef Nurkic. If AD, because what they'll do is they'll play Randall at the 4-5 combo with guys like Sheik Diallo and Jahlil Okafor at the 4-5.
Can we hold on a second? What did you call him?
It's Sheik.
Shake.
Yeah, that's Sheik, not Shake. Sheik.
Okay, well, you said Shake, so that's what you said.
Sorry, I just took a drink of water too.
That's good.
So it's not Czech like we thought it was. We've been calling him Czech Diallo all year. It's not. It's Sheik Diallo. Sheik Diallo, not Shake. Sheik Diallo. So that's the reason why. Anyways, Thomas Robinson just signed a G League contract.
That's welcome back.
No kidding. So I need to know if AD's out for Julius.
Yes, that's what it all hinges on.
Yes.
If he's out, cool.
Yes.
If not, different ballgame.
Yeah, exactly. Because they said that they were probably going to limit him, and they just haven't done it. But they're running out of bodies.
Yeah.
So that also is going to sway my interest on Jahlil Okafor and Diallo and some of these other guys as well. But let's talk about Lauri Markkanen. Now, I forgot who it was. I think it was Mutt that made a very interesting point. Lately, when Zach LaVine is out, Lauri Markkanen has not played well.
Yeah.
But with Zach LaVine in, Markkanen has played well. Or he has played.
He's had stretches, right?
He's played better more often.
Yeah.
That's the better way to do it.
Yeah.
Interesting matchup tonight.
Intriguing. Definitely intriguing.
He's gonna get. He's got the Clippers. He's only 7,800. I don't know what to do with him. I like him, but it's interesting.
We're still on Markkanen?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm intrigued. I'm intrigued because outside of, maybe some Lou Williams, which we talked about, and a little bit of Ivica Zubats, like I don't really have much late night exposure. And this is one of those excuse me, one of those nights where this game starts 2 hours after the one before it does. So it's one of those where, like, winning $100,000 until the last game starts, you're down to like 5. But so it's a little tough. That's definitely somewhere I'd like to go. I think you'll have next to no ownership given how horrible he's been.
And with the addition of Levine back in there.
With Levine back in there, it takes a lot of pressure off of him. You still have Otto, who's probably going to play. He's probable. And so Otto's going to, do some of that as well. And that leaves, one thing too to note, once Robin Lopez started playing his 30 minutes, it also somewhat lowered his production because he was getting like doubles, like rebound. Mm-hmm. Please don't say in and out commercials again. He was getting doubles.
I have no idea. What does double have to do with in and out?
Now, you've definitely only been there once then, if you don't know. But,
but I got it in your head.
No, doubles is one of their burgers.
Anyways, let's go. We talked way too much about In-N-Out Burger.
But he's had doubles a lot with Lopez, who was playing a little bit less. Now that he's pretty much their 30-minute a game center, he's vacuuming up a lot of those rebounds. So that's where I'm a little bit. So now you're at a point where Markkanen has to start making his shots, which he's taking. The shots are just not falling. In order for him to get there, but I'm still very intrigued.
Yep. Same thing kind of goes for Montrezl Harrell. I have a little bit. Tobias Harris is now under 7K going against Sacramento.
I love it.
I'm gonna
be honest. Love it. I've got a fair amount already.
Okay, so let me ask you a question. Tobias Harris, Bobby Portis, same price.
I know. Man, I've been on the two of them, kind of back. I've got a few lineups with both of them, but it's gonna be tough. I think Portis gets more of the ownership because they're a little bit shorter now, but it's hard, man. It's hard. I think I might in tournaments in larger field, not single entry stuff. I'm gonna go Tobias and hope he outscores Portis. And by the way, in those lineups, I'm playing Tobias and I'm playing Thomas Bryant. I'm not playing, to kind of hope that, something goes on with Portis, fouls, struggles, whatever it is, and then go from there.
All right. Thomas Bryant made his way back in. Do you know who has the best overall matchup on the board tonight?
The best overall
at
matchup.
At the position.
Power forward position?
Mm-hmm.
Is it Al-Farouq Aminu?
No. It happens to be Marvin Williams and Frank Kaminsky. It's Washington. Although Al-Farouq Aminu is he's down there, at least as far as the ADVP. He is down there. But that doesn't matter. Al-Farouq Aminu was kind of locked in. I put him in first thing this morning. So... guys, don't play Marvin Bagley yet. He played 19 minutes last night. They're going to work him slowly back in. Yeah,
and unfortunately, his price hasn't reflected that. So he's a tough one to play. Yeah, believe me, I kicked around the idea. But
yeah, I did too.
Can't do it yet.
Kenneth Faried's off the charts. That whole, other than Clint Capella, I don't think you can play any of them outside of a deep field, low exposure tournament type of play. There's just not a lot to love down at the bottom.
Well, I mean,
other than Sheik Diallo, and that's got to be without any AD.
You mentioned Kaminsky a little bit. Here's the thing I want to point out that probably you and Luz are both going to hang me for, but before Tyler Johnson got to the Suns, you would have Booker playing a lot of the point guard, And
Please don't say it.
yes, I'm going to. I don't give a shit because I love it. So with Booker moving to the point guard, Oubre's there at the small forward. That leaves Josh Jackson at the shooting guard, where Josh Jackson does very, very well at the shooting guard. He's aggressive. He drives to the paint. He can hit a shot. So if that's, what's this price here? I mean, he's 4,400. It's a little more than I'd like, but I think he goes untouched, and I think he exceeds his 21-minute projection.
Okay. I don't really have a lot to say against it. I like my Josh Jackson without Devin Booker in the lineup, but I see your point. I do. I really do see your point. I just don't know yet.
Yeah. Just something I'm throwing out there. I'm not. I don't have him in any lineups yet. Just to kind of drive that point home. But
Sent met his way from trolling us in chat to trolling us on Twitch.
Yeah,
gotta love him.
Yeah.
All right, let's move on to centers here. Joel Embiid. Probably going to go very, very low owned today.
Damn near untouched.
Mainly, and you could probably add in Andre Drummond to that mix.
Yep.
Because of the fact that now you have Harden, that's almost a must play.
Yep.
If you're not playing Harden and Beal together, I think you can add in there the you can like pair Harden and Embiid, Harden and Drummond, and that might save you a little bit of money. What was Beal's price again?
10-8.
Okay, so at least you could have basically the same team or the same amount of money left with Harden and Embiid. But Harden and Drummond would save you a little bit of money to where you might be able to upgrade a position. But anyways, like I firmly believe like those are the pairings that I'm going to be going with a lot. Harden and Embiid, Harden and Drummond, or Harden and Beal. So, other than that, like, it's really, like, there's a lot of sneaky plays here at the center position, and they're all down low, and that's why we feel like these two guys up top are going to be basically untouched.
Yeah, for sure, and they're in great spots. So
yeah, both of them.
Don't pass.
So, Clint Capella.
I have some interest. I definitely have some interest.
Okay.
I've got him. I'm doing a lot of pay down options at center because I think you can get your 30 plus from a really low cost person here, but I mean, I still have a lot of interest in Capella. He centers have been doing really well here. It's basically going to be him and Harden. Alley-oops, he should be able to clean up rebounds. I mean, he's going to be able to do a lot here, so I have some interest.
Yep. Nurkic.
I'd rather pay a little bit less for Capella.
See, I like the idea of paying up here a little bit. Not all everywhere, but a little bit.
A little bit's fine. I'm just thinking Capella, I think, is in a better spot to me than. I mean, Nurkic also is in a great spot too, but he's just too handsy to trust consistently. I mean, you talk about a game that's, you've got minimal AD. You'll have some Randall. Randall drives to the paint. Centers that drive to the paint, not versus back to the basket. Nurkic is fine with. Guys who drive, he tends to swipe a lot. And when he swipes a lot, he gets in foul trouble. So that's my concern with Nurkic.
Of course he's questionable for Saturday. Oh, come back, Cupcake. Come back. Anyways, I mean, okay, so it might actually be a shorter list and tell us who we don't have interest. I don't have interest in Boban or Thon Maker.
Boban.
Yeah, like I don't have interest in those two. Every other center, you can make a case for. Like I really do like this position tonight. Well, okay, so maybe not Mitchell Robinson either, but
can't do it.
Yeah, not with DJ. And now if DJ's out for any reason,
yeah.
I know, but that's what you need for Mitchell Robinson.
That would be incredible. But look, I mean, I still like a little bit of Cauley Stein still.
That's what I'm saying. I like this position. It's just I don't think it's gonna be spread out. I think the ownership's gonna go a couple different spots. Mainly Willie Hernangomez. But like okay, so let's talk about those two guys. Let's talk about these two guys. Your chalk of the night's going to be Willie Hernangomez. Okay. I'm probably going to be below the field on this, and I'm going to play a ton of Moritz Wagner because of the leverage that I could get. And it's more than a 50-50 chance that Wagner outscores Hernangomez.
I don't have a single Hernangomez lineup.
So
I can't deal.
For $200 more, you're going to get a guy that is a fraction of the ownership. And
what are you showing Hernangomez for ownership right now?
19.
Wow, that's pretty high.
Yeah.
And what are you showing Wagner?
2. Like, okay, so there's three. There's the top 3 centers are Hernangomez, Embiid, and Drummond.
Yeah.
With Hernangomez the only one as of this moment over 10%. So that's the reason why I'm saying I'm just gonna, I might just fade completely on that one, and play the leverage and play some Frank Kaminsky or something. I don't know what I'm gonna do with it yet, but Wagner, yeah. I do like Wagner over Hernangomez.
I do too.
So
he's going to play more. He's got a better matchup. He's coming back home. I mean, there's a lot to love about that. So, I frankly, I wasn't even considering Hernangomez just because he doesn't play enough for me. Like, Washington has Portis at the 5. They could, potentially slide over Jeff Green there, or they're a small team. So, I just don't see how he puts up over 20. I mean, I just don't see it.
Yeah, I mean, we've got the chalkiest guys we've got on the slate are like Emmanuel Mudiay, Ish Smith, Willie Hernangomez. What could go wrong, right?
Right.
So.
Yeah.
Oh man.
So that's all I got as far as centers. I mean, there is another guy that I'm semi considering. I think he's a center on DK. He's a power forward on FanDuel. So I've been listening. No, it's not Hassan Whiteside. I've been listening to a lot of Spoelstra talk about specific guys on his team. He's one of the few coaches that he's very open about that. Here's what he thinks about this guy. Here's things about that guy. And he's been very complimentary of Bam Adebayo. He says what he likes about him is his ability to defend the perimeter, which is where our game is today in terms of bigs. Whiteside can't hang with that. It's not his forte. Don't play him today. But it's more along the lines of I like him because that's what Brook Lopez does. I mean, he can certainly work down low too. So can Bam. But I really like this matchup for Adebayo. I think he's really the only Heat guy I can probably play. I know you mentioned some other guy that you liked, which we'll talk about, in your notes or whatever. But since you're now a DK coach, but I mean,
that was one day.
I know that's why I'm laughing. I kind of like Adebayo.
I do too.
Yeah, and I'm looking at what I think will be next to an unowned guy. So I like it.
Mm-hmm. Yep, I can see your points there. So, alrighty, guys, that's gonna do it for us today. Any final thoughts, Bear?
Yeah, same thing I said last time, right? And that is, Keith, you just identified who those chalk players are. You've got Ish, you got Moutier, you've got Hernan Gomez. You've got all these guys. Obviously, Harden. To me, the only really must is Harden, in my opinion. There, you don't really. It's Harden and Ish. I really like Ish going against the Lakers. He can do some damage,
especially if we don't get word on Reggie Jackson before lock,
which we should. That's the first game, so we should. But yeah, if we don't, if you want to be off chalk sneaky kind of play, don't play either of those point guards and go like Langston Galloway, for example, or, Luke Kennard, somebody else who ball handles for the Pistons, and go off of the chalk and go to like Landry Shamet, go to like, some of the other guys we talked about, and try to do as many as you can pay up center spots, because like we said, those guys are going to go untouched. I still think you can play guys like, like we talked about, Drummond and Embiid and Capella and Ayton and those guys, Willie Cauley-Stein, like even Jakob Poeltl, if you're feeling crazy. Like there's a lot here that you can get that no one's going to touch, because their optimizers are all going to say, oh, well, this guy's the best position, so I'm going to play him times 1,000, right? So just pay attention to that. And hopefully you can gain some advantages there.
Yep, I agree. So, all right, guys, that's going to do it for us today. For myself, for Bear, for the DFS Army, we gone.